People from all over the fashion industry have descended on London Fashion Week. Extravagant outfits, exclusive designer brands, they've all dressed to impress. But some people here have dressed up for an entirely different reason. Environmental protesters are wearing black to mourn the impact of the fashion industry on climate change. They call themselves Extinction Rebellion, and via social media they've been organising protests over climate change throughout the country since last October. Their goal? To get the government to take stronger action against what they're calling a global emergency.
So we really want the fashion industry to all people to wake up to the fact that we are in a climate and ecological emergency. The fashion industry emits 1.2 billion tons of carbon emissions, which is the same as Russia. And basically business is going on as usual. I know the fashion industry has made a lot of changes and becoming more sustainable, but only less than 1% of clothing is recycled into new clothing, and consumption is increasing. So we really need a big change in culture. I mean, if you think about Greta, she's a climate activist who just from striking from school for 6 months has made I don't know how many thousands of people get out onto the streets and do the same. And think what the fashion industry, with all the influence it has, how much of an engine for cultural change that could be if they really woke up to the fact that this is an emergency.
All these people have come out here today to get their voices heard. But is climate change really as urgent an issue as they say it is?
Climate change is an urgent problem because we have to cut our greenhouse gas emissions very sharply over the next few decades. Otherwise, we will be living with the consequences, worsening consequences of climate change for many decades and centuries to come. And the scale of the risks are huge. Every part of the economy has to reduce its emissions, and it's a good idea to be more resource conservative, to waste less, to pollute less, and so the fashion industry has got to embrace that as well. Use less chemicals, use less energy, encourage recycling.
Today, the protesters are blocking roads and disrupting business outside some of the busiest London Fashion Week venues.
Now! Climate justice! Now! Climate justice!
While protesters are packing up at 6 today, it doesn't look like their fight for change is going to be stopping anytime soon. This is City News reporting from London.